Right, good morning grade 12. We're going to do a difficult program now, and it is this one. We're going to read SRC members, going to have duty points at break time, just like prefects. Let's say we're prefects, and we're going to read from a text file into a 2D array and then a string grid, just like previous example, but slightly different because this text file has names of all the prefects in the text file. But the thing here is that we have 6 times 5, which is 30. Only 30 names must be read, but there are actually 48 names here. I counted them. So we're going to have to stop reading before the end of the text file, and that should be interesting. We're going to stop reading before the end, so we're not going to use while not end of file. We have to use a loop, another loop structure. We will decide. Well, we do know that we're going to read 6 lines. 6, okay, there's 6 names. And they are going to go into the first row of this array. So whenever you've got a problem, just think of the middle part of the string grid without the headings as being your array. Okay, without the headings, the array is the inside bit. That first row, John, Trevor, Anthony, Lebo, Janet, Karen, are the first 6 lines. So we're going to say for k, or our row equals 1 to 6. We're going to read a line and then go and increment a counter for our column and put the first one in that column, and then that in column 2, Anthony in column 3, Lebo in column 4, 5 and 6. There. But then the columns are not going to be numbered. We are going to have columns with chars, characters. They're going to be numbered with characters. The columns are going to be A to F, and the row is going to be 1 to 5 to make it even more complex. But let's go and dive in. Read the names from the text file. Fine, let's just go ahead and do our assign file statement without testing if the text file exists, just to save time here. And I'll just say S line as being the string, and assign file, my file, and it is names.txt, and then reset for reading. So that is all the same so far, but I actually don't want to read all the way to the end. I'm going to do a loop of 5. Why? Because from 1 to 5 is going to be my row. So I'm going to call it our row. Our row colon integer. So I'm going to say for our row equals 1 to 5, do. Take me a chance, eh? And for our rows 1, I'm going to go and read 6 lines. So for our col equals 1 to 6, I'm going to read 6 times. Then I make my forward counter here. Our col. So let's go and do that. Let's read ln from my file into S line. So I'm going to read 6 times. You can start with the row being 1, so it's nested loop. And this will save that we're not going to go right to the end of the text file, because as I said, there's 48 lines there, not 30, which is what we need. We have to stop at 30. So 5 times 6 is 30. Anyway, our call is going to 1 to 6. I'm going to read a line. What I'm going to do with that line, I'm going to put it into the array. Where's my array? Good question. Hey, we need an array. I'll put it over here. ARR names array. Now I want to actually, these arrays are going to be named with characters just to make it really complicated. Let's have a look. What are they? A to F. A to F. That's going to be 6 dot dot, sorry, dot dot F. And what's going to be in each one? A string, because it's a name. Oops, A to F is the columns. 1 dot dot 5 is the row. I forgot how to declare 2D array. There we go. An array with two dimensionals. It's a rows 1 to 5 and columns A to F. And that's A to F is 6 columns and that's 5 rows. So, right, we've got this issue over here. So instead of rcol equal to 1 to 6, I should rather make it ccol. Not so. It'll be the same number of times. Make it a char counter. For ccol, it'll still be 6. The loop will still go around 6 times. For A to F, do. It'll still be translated A, B, C, D, E, F at 6 times if we're going to read the line. And then we're going to put it into ARR names, square brackets, R row, comma, C col will be equal to S line. And that's it, folks. That's all we have to do. So we're reading from the array, from the text file, sorry, into the 2D array. A little bit of manipulation there, and I know I'm going to do six readings. So this outside loop is going to go from 1 to 5, and the inside loop is going to go from A to F 6 times. We're reading the line, and yeah, bit of magic, eh? Now we're going to go and display that into the string grid. So we want point A and day 1. So the columns are going to point A to B, A to F. Now the problem is that we do have to use numbers for the string grid. Okay, we have to use numbers for the string grid, but our array is, the columns are numbered with characters. So we do have to have an rcol for our string grid, an integer. And I'm going to say rcol equals 0 here, and I'm going to increment rcol there. So if ccol is A, rcol will be 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and write stg ut dot cells square brackets rcol row 0 equals, and the headings, we're doing the headings there, point, there we go, that's the headings of the columns. And I've used an integer here so that I can refer to the string grid column number inside the loop there instead of A to F. But I do need A and F, so there I just bend it over there because I have to have point A, point B, point C, so on. Now we're going to do the row numbers, which are much easier. For our row equals 1 to 5, do stg duty dot cells square brackets column 0 our row equals day plus into string our row. Now that's the headings. What about the data? show names. Okay, all I've done so far is put the headings on. So let's go and see what happens so far. We have not displaying the array, just reading the names, and we've got the headings on. Okay. Now the show names is going to go and put in the names from the 2D array into the string grid. And it's actually quite an easy little program. We do need to go and enable that button. Dot enabled equals true. btn show.enable equals true. There we go. Right, let's just recap quickly. Remember, we're reading for the text file. We're going to read 6 lines, and each time we read a line, we're incrementing a column counter. Well, there's the column being incremented from A to F. Okay, so we read the 6 lines. That's row 1, and then row 2 read another 6 lines, and row 3 read another 6 lines, and row 4 read another 6 lines, and row 5 read another 6 lines. And then we'll have our 30 lines that have been read. We're not going to the end of the text file. Now we're going to go and show the names in the string grid. So, we know that we're going to use a C-col and an R-col. Remember, we had to have C-col, and we need R-row. We also need R-col because the string grid is numbered with integers. The row and the columns of the string grids have to be integers. We do need C-col to go from A to F so that we can access our array. Now remember, I told you that you don't have to worry if you start with C-col first, or the row first, or the column first. Doesn't matter when you're going through every single box of the array. Doesn't matter which order you do it in, row first or column first. Right, now we're doing the column C-col first. Now remember, I have to have a counter for R-col. Wait a minute. Because I put C-col first, I've got to go and make it naught there. And then increment it over here. Okay, because I'm using C-col first, I've got to initialize our R-col over here. Sorry, R-col. Our counter for R-col. So every time C-col is A, then R-col must be 1. And then we're going for R equals 1 to 5. And then we say std duty dot cells square brackets R-col comma R-row. Remember, it has to be column first for the string grid, and for the array ARR names, I call it ARR names, no, square brackets R-row comma C-col. See that C-col over there? That is because the array has an index. What is the index of the array? Go and check it again if you forget. A to F for the columns, 1 to 5 for the rows. So we've got our A to F going there, and to accommodate the string grid we have to have R-col incremented over here. Don't forget, always initialize it to 0 beforehand. And if I did this other way around, let's say I did it the other way around. Okay, let's just say we started with R-row. Okay, and then we had this. This is what we would do. That's what we would do. We don't need this begin and end here, we're only doing one thing. So I'm doing it twice here because I want to show you that you can use R-row first and then R-col second, and all we do, oh, we've got to increment, hey, silly me. I do have to have begin and end here because I've got C-col equal to naught, and then I increment R-col right there. That is if I do it the other way around. Don't forget begins and ends. So if I start with arcol first, I increment arcol, and then I can go and put that in there. In that for loop, arcol will go, if ccol is A, arcol is 1, and so on. And in this nested for loop, arcol will stay the same 5 times. And then arcol gets changed again over there. And over here we have, for our row equals 1 to 5. Okay, our row is 1, then ccol is initialized to 0, but inside the loop we increment it. So each time, if ccol is A, then arcol will be 1. So column 1, row 1 will have whatever those are there. And then column 2, row 1, and then column 3, row 1. So it depends on which angle you use. So you can do it either way. And we will go and run the program. I know it's going to fill up the string grid twice, but that doesn't matter. Let's see if it works. Read the names, show the names. Right, let's go and check that the names are correct as per our diagram here. Yep, it looks right. Absolutely correct. Okay, so that is the end of this chapter on arrays. Next time we will go and do exam papers. See you later.